Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Jason Wehrli with WCFab Side-by-Side, and today we've got our 2022 to current Honda Talon Front Bumper. So we've been making a front bumper for the Honda Talon since they first came out in 2019, and when Honda released the 22 model, they made some front fascia design changes which had us go back to the drawing board and make some design updates to the bumper for the 22 and newer Honda Talons. So this bumper is 22 to current only. If you've got a 19 to 21, make sure you're buying the specific bumper for 19 to 21. You will notice the biggest difference is the width between the two uprights. The 22 is much wider. So this fits all of your Honda Talon models, whether you have an X or an R, a two-seater, a four-seater, an S model, all compatible on every model Talon. So this is very nice, heavy duty, nearly full width bumper, giving you much more protection to the whole front fascia of the machine, from the headlights through the grille, even to the center of the hood. So we've got the design of the bumper to be just below the headlights so that you don't obstruct any of the lighting or the view, but it does offer good protection to that whole front panel, protection that the OEM bumper does not have at all. At the lower mount point, we reuse all of the factory hardware. We've got some laser cut and bent mount brackets. You'll see our incorporated bent tabs here is for the bottom of the radiator fascia coming down the side of the machine. There's a push tab there that gets reinstalled just like the OEM bumper does. The top mount is a nice CNC machined billet component, again reusing the factory hardware. We machined a square piece just like factory where it slides right into the frame rails, and we weld our round tube right to the end of that. It's a nice high quality strong part that you're not going to have to worry about folding up. And if you do have a Honda Talon that has had an incident and ran into anything with the front of the machine, folded up that front bumper, it's not uncommon for those OEM bumper mounts on the chassis to get bent up or even tore off the machine completely. So it's a nice heavy duty mount to the chassis at the top mount. If your machine has already had a run-in with something in the front end and you've folded up that stock bumper and you've damaged your OEM mount points at the chassis, the ears at the chassis at the bottom and even the upper mounts are notorious for getting damaged if you have a gnarly front end collision. We do offer a weld-on bumper repair kit for both the upper and the lower there that gives you a much stronger connection point to the chassis. We've got our nice laser engraved tag on the passenger side of the machine incorporated in there. Also works really well as a point to put your hook on if you've got a winch. So another thing that's standard on all of our front bumpers is our fair lead mounting plate. We do offer a winch mount that is specific for use with our front bumpers because it mounts that winch tight to the front of the chassis. There's a lot of other winch mounts out there that aren't mounted tight. The winch hangs a little bit further forward and they're not compatible with our bumper because our bumper is so much tighter to the front of the machine. One thing that we wanted to achieve when we designed our bumper is a better approach angle on the front of the machine. The stock bumper sticks out in front of the tires, and if you're doing any sort of aggressive off-roading, if you're climbing anything, whether it be inclines, rocks, trees, whatever you may run into, that stock bumper contacts everything before your tires have a chance to roll over it. So when we designed the bumper, we brought it in as close to the front of the machine as possible so that your tires make contact before the bumper, so that when you're hitting things, you're not having the bumper in the chassis dragging the dirt or hitting a tree or rock and slowing you down. So with that, it leaves less room for that winch to be installed. So we have a couple brand winches that we recommend that we've test fit with our bumper and our mount kit that we know fit and we know clear with our bumper because it is so much tighter on the front of the machine. So with our winch mount plate and any of our recommended winches, we've got that fair lead mount here, two different bolt patterns depending on which size winch you have, but that allows that fair lead to be mounted right to the bumper, and as I mentioned, instead of your hook hanging down, you can clip that hook right up here. Works really well. The whole bumper is manufactured here in-house. We start with 1 3/4 095 wall DOM tube, runs through our Dragon tube cutter and then through our tube bender, and we assemble this bumper on our nice jigs that were all designed in CAD for awesome fitment on your machine. Nice level and square look, no crooked bumpers or odd fitting pieces because they're built on a jig that was all designed in CAD and test fit on the machine for proper fitment. At the end of the main upper cross tube, You'll see other companies using plastic inserts or a lightweight end cap on the end here. We've got a nice billet steel component that we machined from a solid billet chunk and put a nice little round taper on there for a nice smooth look, and that engages into the end of the tube and is TIG welded in place. That gives extra strength to the end of that tube there so it doesn't crush on impact, and gives you a nice overall fit and finish on the end of the bumper. Looking at the front of the bumper, we've got our two side uprights, very similar to our 19 to 21 model bumper. We have these there to specifically help protect the side of the radiator for any intrusion objects or anything of that sort coming towards the radiator, and also the fascia that comes down underneath the headlight to help protect the whole front of that machine. Like all WCFab product, manufactured here in-house and powder coated here in our state-of-the-art facility. Another area we take a step above and beyond the others. We apply a zinc primer base coat on all of our side-by-side product before the top color. That base primer adds 3 times the corrosion and scratch and dent or ding resistance versus just a single stage of powder coat. And that comes standard on all of our side-by-side product. So it gives you a much higher quality, longer lasting finish. Honda Talon Red shown in front of us here. This is a color that we had special made to match the Honda Talon Perfect, along with Talon Blue, Silver, Orange, all of your popular Talon colors. So we carry Honda Talon Red and Blue on the shelf for quick shipment. So that wraps up our Honda Talon 2022 to current Honda Talon front bumper. If you've got any other questions about any of our Honda Talon products, bumpers, tree kickers, rock sliders, control arms, radius rods, roll cages, feel free to leave a comment below. Reach out to our sales team. We'd be happy to help you get your side-by-side outfitted with the high quality WCFab product.